Hello everyone, this is Mary Ann, and in my previous video I showed you my archives, everything that was in the drawers, and I felt that I was rushing through the video and I didn't really give you guys a closer look at what was actually inside the pages in terms of how the pages look like, and I didn't really discuss with you how the system evolved. So here I'm doing this video to give you a closer look at the system and how I got there. This is actually volume 1. It's shaped like a book, but it's actually a box that I made out of illustration board, and I wrapped it with some sample wallpaper material which I got for free from an interior decoration store. They were giving away booklets of wallpaper samples for those lines that have been discontinued, so I got them and used them for here. And I used an ordinary satin ribbon to keep it closed. Now, these were the earliest journals that I could find. I had older ones, but I could no longer find them. These are from 1991. I was 15 years old. Sometimes I'd write with a pen, sometimes I'd write with a pencil, and Fido Dido was an in thing in 1991. So these are from my notebooks that come with refills. So these are from February 1, 1991 and all the way to October 12, 1992. This pretty much looks the same. Look at that. Oh, here, see, in 1990 something, what day was this? In October 12, 1992, I had a crush on somebody named Jawad, and right now he's my boyfriend. Funny how things work out, right? I had to get married, have a son, have a series of relationships, and then I'm going back to Jawad anyway. And this would be the next volume. This is the Diary of Mary Ann Moore, and it starts on August 3, 1993. And this was from a notebook that my parents gave me. They were thin notebooks, so I took them off the springs and then sewed the whole thing together so I'd have a thicker book. It's the Super Shades thing. I think this is the brand. I no longer remember. But it comes with blue paper, very wide lines, and sometimes I'd write with a ballpoint. Yeah, this is all ballpoint. Sometimes I'd write with a sign pen, sometimes mostly with a ballpoint. So that's it. That's the second volume. And then next comes this one. It's perfectly bound. It's not spring bound anymore. I bought it like this. It actually comes with a very faint outline of a hot air balloon, and I wrote mostly in pink ballpoint pen. So this is how it looks like. Now this is really girlish. This was the countdown to I had a boyfriend then, and I ended up marrying him, and when we started we had a due date for when we were going to get married. Now this is my countdown to that day. I still have it. We said we were going to get married on December 15, 1998, but we ended up getting married in April 18, 1998. It was even earlier than planned. So there, that's how it looked like. Now let's put this back. This is all the content of volume number 1. Volume number 2 is also a box, but it has, I know what this contains. These are the slips of paper with notes on them that came back with the diary volumes that my ex-husband's lawyer used as evidence for the annulment case. I took them all out of the diary, put them in this envelope, and sealed it. I know what this is. I kept them anyway. And up next I have, oh, those are just mementos. I think this is when I started keeping everything. So this is it. This is from March 1997 to, I don't know, February 1999. See, I would keep petals already, and sometimes when I did not bring this, I would journal on loose leaf sheets and then just paste them on here, just so everything is still chronological when I get back to them. I honestly didn't know if I'd ever get back to these diaries, but letters to my parents that I keep copies of. And what is this? I don't know. What is this? Whew. This is very, very strange. How come I have these notes on here? Anyway, I'm sure I'll remember why at some point. Notes from friends, my very, very first business card, a diary entry, notes, and journal entries. There. This is how it looks like, and I put it here, and I could not fit anything here anymore. And that is journal volume number 2. Number 3 is when this is a lot different. Oops, see, it came off. I'm gonna fix it sometime. This is from May 11, 2000, and this was when I got my vintage Olympia typewriter. I've said that before. It's from 1957 or 1959, I don't remember, and I would write my journal entries on that typewriter. So this is how it looks like, and I would sign my name at the end of every entry, so it will look like a letter to myself. One continuous, really, really long letter to myself. Now this is the ribbon that came with the typewriter. It's the original one. After a while I changed the ribbon, and now it looks like this. And we still have onion skin paper in the Philippines, so I bought a ream of it, and I liked it better because I can fit in more sheets in one volume. So that's all just onion skin paper, onion skin, all that. It's onion skin. This looks really good. Every once in a while I would go back to regular paper, but it's onion skin most of the way. Now I was new to email then, but because I used to keep all of the letters that I sent and which I received, I would keep emails as well. So these are the contents. The contents of this notebook are transcribed onto the following pages. Oh, I used this as a diary before. Let's see. It's not sealed, but because of age, I think the plastic sealed itself. So the contents of this, which are presumably handwritten, have been transcribed onto here, just so I can easily go back to them, or maybe I did it this way so that I can have reason to use my typewriter. It's an onion skin paper. There. Onion skin paper again. I love onion skin paper. I keep buying reams of them, and I keep finding reasons to use them. Onion skin. And if you can notice, the ribbon is starting to get faded again. That's just how much typing I used to do. Now, I have these flags on top because there were topics that for some reason I wanted to go back to, so I marked them with this. And War, Herman Wouk. Oh, this is an entry about Herman Wouk's War and Remembrance. I would journal about the movies that I watched, the books that I watched, the books that I read, so things like that. Journaled about everything. So that's it. Oh, I was experimenting with typography in Microsoft Word. It was so new to me then, so this looks so tacky. But then I would go back to writing with my typewriter. Now these are ephemera from trips that I took with my son, a copy of a letter I sent out to someone, a letter from my confessor. Right there. These are actually, it's called yellow onion skin paper, and it's very rough, but I tried it out. And then onion skin paper again, and the yellow onion skin paper, and then I remember this green one. It's still thin. It's onion skin paper still. And there. That's volume 3. As for volume 4, I hope I'm not boring you guys. This is going to be a rather long video. I'm going to post a warning at the below box, just so people will know what to expect. Now this is from November 2000 onwards. It's all a mix of typewritten pages on onion skin paper, and this is a draft of an essay that my cousin sent me to edit, and I felt so happy that she thought I was worthy enough to look at this very personal essay, so I kept this in here. Mostly emails from my best friend, and a card somebody gave me, another letter from my confessor, a letter from my best friend, a letter from my confessor to my parents, which they gave me, so I kept that in here. And this one is a letter from my confessor, but it's addressed to me. And then this is a letter from my aunt, and then a letter from my confessor, and my letter to my confessor. And this is a letter from my aunt, you know, things like that, things that I would keep in my journal pages. Sorry, I have a little cold. Something has been going around lately, and the weather has been changing so fast that I've been having allergies because of the drastic weather changes. Climate change is upon us. So there. Sometimes I would recount conversations that I've had as I remember them. I don't know why. They might come in handy sometime, or even if I just want to, you know, remember certain things for the sake of nostalgia, I would have these. I think that's the purpose of a diary, one of the main purposes of a diary. Now I'm back to using regular paper and the typewriter. Maybe I got tired of the onion skin for a while, so I wanted to go back to regular white paper. But after a while, I would just, you know, when the pages are typed up and then I realized that I've forgotten a detail, I would write that on here. So that's it. That's what volume 4 looks like. Now for volume 5, this is unbound, like I mentioned before, because together with volume 4, volume 5 has been taken as evidence for my annulment case. So this was taken, all those, remember that small unmarked white envelope that I showed you before in one of the boxes? It contained slips of paper with notes from the paralegals. They all came back inserted in here and on here. When the annulment was over, the diaries were returned to me with those notes. Okay. Still typewritten paper. And look at this. This is a letter to my cousin, and I used the typewriter for it, but I kept a carbon copy. It's in blue because it's in carbon copy. We still have carbon papers here in the Philippines because we still use typewriters really in offices, mostly in government offices. So that's why I'm lucky. I have a lot of suppliers of typewriter ribbons and carbon paper and onion skin paper, things like that. And oh, by the way, onion skin paper is used mainly for typewriters so that people can make multiple copies, like 5 copies, 7 copies of just one document, and the imprint would still be clear even on the last copy. So that's what onion skin paper is for, but I just so love the look of it. See? Don't you just love how typewritten papers look like? It's so wonderful, so perfect, and considering that it's an old typewriter and it still writes so well, it's amazing. I'm so lucky that I found that. So this is it. This is this is a list of Pearl S. Buff books that I wanted to bind. I think I was unable to bind that properly. Oopsie, I have to be careful with these. And those were the pages for this volume. Birthday tags for birthday gifts that other people gave me, and then another note. Now, this is the time when I went back for master's studies for my Master in Business Administration, and I would work in a library, and of course I didn't have my typewriter there. So during lulls, during study period, I would handwrite these journal pages, and then when I would get home, I would file them away chronologically together with the rest of the pages. But when I'm home, I still typewrote my my entries. Now this is from, oh, I remember this. This is from the time when I was invited to be a judge at a dance showdown in 2001, and I don't know who. These are the names of the dance groups, and these were the tallies. I did the tally. I was the secretariat of the group of judges, so I did the tallies, and then from there we identified who was first, second, and third. I remember this. It's really fun. By the time the last group was already dancing, all of the judges, which were like 20 something at that time, were also dancing in their seats. We just stood up and then danced together with it. It was a fun event, and without this here, I would never remembered it. So it's nice to keep things. And that's that. And then this pretty much is a mixture of handwritten pages written on the fly and typewritten pages written at home. This is a letter from my cousin. So it's a mix of handwritten pages on lined paper and typewritten pages written at home. See, I even experimented with paper. This is shiny paper with a very light texture of flowers and butterflies. And that's basically it. Notes, emails. I was on Hotmail then. Sometimes I would even write with a pencil on onion skin paper. And this is, this is the summons for the annulment case. Every time I get a summons, I would file it on here because it's part of the history of my life. So this is still basically how it looks like. These are letters to friends. If it's blue, it's a carbon copy, therefore it's a letter to a friend. That's how I can see at a glance what it's about. This is red ink on onion skin paper. And I wonder what this is. Oh, this is a handwritten entry when I was in Baguio City for a writer's workshop. I think I forgot to bring onion skin sheets to the workshop proper, but I had them in my bag in Baguio City. That's why I had to use this. But in the next entry, I was in my room already, so it was 11 12:55 p.m. So I was definitely in my room and I wrote this entry. So that's pretty much it. This entry was from Dumaguete City. I wonder why these are photocopied. I guess I'll remember that sometime. Now these are from Dumaguete City, and this was the napkin that the other writers and I were playing around with a ranga. So everyone gets to write one line and that entire thing will become one poem. So this is it. I should scan this sometime and post it on Facebook and tag everyone, because I wrote their names down on here. It was one drunken night. And then, what else? A magnolia from the garden of Cecilia Hoffman. It smelled like ice cream. Isn't this cute? Oh, I'm not even going to open it. I know that it's a magnolia from the garden of Cecilia Hoffman. Okay, so it's a mixture of handwritten pages on onion skin. This is a postcard from a co-fellow of mine in Dumaguete City, and mostly handwritten pages because I was out of town and I could not bring my typewriter with me. And then still on onion skin, back to typewriters again, and now these are pages that I print out with lines, and then I started using the metallic gel pens, but I would always come back to the typewriter, and that would be volume 6. Now for the rest of the volumes, I will not really spend so much time on them because they look pretty much the same as the others. Volume 7, volume 8, which is unbound. So that's how it looks. What is this? Oh, now here is a planner. I used to use a month on a big sheet. This is from March 2003, and that was enough for me at that time. Now it's amazing how I cannot even fit one day into one page. I need 2 pages for one day. But this is the format that I used before, and I always, when the month is over, I paste them on here. I do not throw anything away. I'm sure you have noticed. So it's all here, pretty much the same. And this must be from a trip to a garden that I made or something like that. Sometimes I wouldn't have the energy to write a journal entry, but I would keep ephemera of whatever I did for that day on the page, although I forgot to mark it with a date. So here is another monthly spread. It's for June 2003, and that's how it looks. I did not color code at the time, but for some reason I liked the red ink for a while. Now this is, my grandmother died this year, but see, I have kept the envelope that she gave me. I think this contained a letter. It says para Annie. It's Spanish for Annie, and Annie is me. This is my boyfriend at the time. I don't know why I put this here. This is definitely not the thing that my grandmother gave me, but maybe I kept this there. Oh no, this is the letter from my grandmother, and it's in Spanish. It's written on July 7, 2003, and it's signed Lola Fanny. It's my abuelita, and this is the envelope that she put that in. See, it's really nice to go back to these things. Penciled entries on notebook paper. This is a letter to my son, which I wrote in 2003. My son was 2 years old at that time, but I would write letters to him, and then I would keep carbon copies of it in my journal, and then the original copies are kept in a separate file, and then when he gets to a certain age, I will give that file to him. I started that in 2003, I think. So this was the time when I fell in love with pencils again, specifically the Mongol #2 pencils. And here is another letter from my grandmother from July 20. I think it's still in 2003. It's in Spanish again from my grandmother, and this is the envelope that she used to seal the letter in. And here is yet another monthly spread. Oops, I wonder what these yellow globs are. Ew, ew. Are they food? I don't know, I can't remember. Ugh. But it doesn't smell, so I hope it's not rotten food. So this is it. There. Here's another monthly planner sheet. So as you can see, I keep everything, and I did not know why, but now I'm starting to figure out why. It's for doing videos like these. Can you imagine just doing all of that? Now this is beginning, this is beginning June 27, 2005, and it's pretty much the same. It doesn't have much. Cards from friends. Note from my mother. Just the same old thing. And the next one is also unbound, and ooh, this one looks complicated. Still the usual printouts, the occasional printouts. I think I already had a laptop then, and I was in school, so I would type my entries and then print them out when I have the time, and then put them on here. Oh, this is a note from my brother, written in 2003, and penciled entries on ruled note paper. And then here comes another monthly spread for September 2003. And oh, here's a blank sheet. There. Note from my brother, because I used to live with him, so sometimes our schedules are so strange, we don't exactly see each other anymore, so we would leave notes for each other in the apartment that we share. There. Sometimes I used to jot down my finances here and then figure out where everything goes. This is when I used to rent movies. Now nobody does that anymore. And here's another monthly spread. You can see that it looks pretty much the same. And this is when I started keeping things like these in earnest. Oh, these are records of text messages sent to me. I took screen grabs of them and burned them onto here. I don't know why I have CDs of personal correspondence, but I'm sure the reason is somewhere in these CDs. I'll figure it out sometime. And I wrote on a notebook, and then I tore out the pages and put them on here, just so I can have the same size paper, and just so I can bind them. Now I moved to a smaller paper, but it's still on the monthly format. Here's one for April 2004. And this is my first salary from the university that I used to teach in. And here's another monthly, not much going on there. And another letter from my confessor. And then another monthly, and another monthly. Notes from Christmas gifts. Tickets to a museum. This is a thank you card. I took the picture of that and kept it in my album. There. So that's pretty much that. Now these ones the wire-bound ones that I created are actually completely handwritten with fountain pens. This is how they look like. Volume 11, 12, there. Completely with fountain pens and completely handwritten. I did not use the typewriter because I was always on the go and I wanted to file everything away as they happened. So that's it. Just flipping through everything so you guys can see how it looks like. There. It's a horoscope. Scans of some receipts pasted in my journals. Now this is completely made with parchment paper. I wanted to splurge on something, so I used parchment paper and printed lines on them. But I still used fountain pens, and they don't bleed on parchment paper. I think this is the best handwriting that I've ever had. This is, I think, this is a diary entry written on stationery paper. And there's that. And this one is pretty much the same. A letter from a friend. Different colors of fountain pen ink. This one is thick because it has a lot of pasted stuff on there. This is a scan of a letter that I wrote. Card from a friend. And finally, this one, a rose given to me. This is a card from my son. There. And now we move to the, I've already shown you my moleskin planner. It's the 18-month thing that I'm going to show it to you again. It's the 18-month planner, week on one page with a note paper on the other page. So I always smile when I see this. It's just the second time since I put this in storage. And that's that. And then here's another planner. This is the red one. It's the first time the Moleskin came out with a red planner, and I purchased the same format. There, nothing much going on there. This is for the year, what year was this? 2008? Nothing much going on there, amazingly. Oh, I do have to fix these labels. They're not sticking very well, but at least the journals are in Ziploc planners, so I won't lose track of what volume they are. And this is a journal, not a planner. Let's look at what this has inside. Oh, it's coming off again. You've seen this already. Ephemera, journal, moleskin, fountain pens. Sometimes I would print out tarot card readings that I get online. They look pretty interesting. So I have to fix that. Note to self: fix all labels on my journal volumes. use better tape, use a more efficient adhesive, which I still have to find. And at some point I transferred to I moved to the smaller moleskins because I needed to carry smaller bags, and I got tired of just carting around big notebooks. So this would be the daily journal, the daily planner. That's it. That's the daily planner. That's how it looks like. 1 page per day. Just flipping through an entire year, which is 2011. That's how my entire year looked like. Oh. And then this would be the journal, because it's thinner. It's so cute, but I cannot write in this format anymore. It would be too small. And then this one. See, I used to even still type on onionskin paper, and then I would paste them on here. So that's it. And then after a while, I moved to this one. I moved to the Quo Vadis because the moleskin paper ended up being so bad with fountain pens. Now this is much, much better. They are really, really great with fountain pens, even with the wettest inks and nibs. This is the Quo Vadis A5. So that's how it looks. And here's another volume. They come in different color covers. They look really, really nice. Oops, sorry about that. And here. And you've already seen this. I discovered the Chronodex by accident. And this is how my first attempts at it looked like. And then I eventually moved to the Midori. This would be the gridded notebook, which contains the Chronodex. See, there's the Chronodex. This would be my planner, and inside the same Midori notebook would be my journal. And I used the lightweight paper refill with the. It's not really onion skin, but it's very lightweight, and it's. Sorry about that. It's really great with fountain pens, and this is how it looks like. So the Chronodex and the journal and other things, including the credit card holders and the Ziploc pouches, in one Midori notebook. That was what I was using at that time. And then eventually I moved to the Midori system. This fell off. Oh, it's from 1996. I have to put that back in there. At least there's a date. It's a letter to my boyfriend then, who eventually became my husband. And now I moved to the Filofax, and these are how the archives look like. Now you've already seen how this looked like, and I show you a flip through of it every month, so I'm not going to show you the whole thing again, and this video is already too long. And the office is starting to become noisy, so I'm going to end this now. I hope you liked this video. I hope you didn't find it too tedious, and I hope that you were able to find a few ideas that you can use on your own. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye.